Hey, I'm Zax from Ready Check Pool, and I'm here with Jim Fro from Ready Check Pool.
Hi.
And we got a special guest this go around. We got our very special guest, SoulSoBreezy. How you doing, man?
I'm good, although I'm not that special. I'm okay. You can call me an okay guest. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, we got a decent, he's okay guest here.
A very special okay guest.
But yeah, we wanted to kind of change things up, see how it goes with having a guest on here, and do our normal just hanging out, talking about WoW, whatever comes to mind. We got some questions, and I don't know, see how it goes.
Dude, how's the pandemic treating you?
But how's the pandemic treating me? It's a weird and kind of I guess it's a unique situation for everyone. So I go between like mine and my wife's place, and then her parents, so the in-laws. We kind of go back and forth between that. So it's like we're sort of living separated, but not, because she goes up there to help her parents, and I'm down here doing doing work and all that stuff. So it's a weird. It's been definitely a weird couple of months. Of that, and no kids, and that
lucky
kind of wiping down groceries, not going to the gym, suffering because I'm not going to the gym. I gained like 7 pounds. I'm so upset over it. I just saw my doctor this week, and he was like, I think you need to like stop having sugar and stuff. I'm like, what? I'm just having ice cream. Yeah, you need to stop having sugar.
I've been crying for 4 months.
I know. How are we supposed to live? He's like, do you want your cholesterol to be like the way it is? And I'm like, well, but ice cream, it's hot.
Dude, check it, man. I know this isn't about WoW, but have you seen the new like the Bowflex little like dumbbells that are like you literally stick your hand into the thing, you little twist it, and you twist it to the weight you want.
Did you know that right now, if you try to buy that motherfucker, it is like,
so you do know about it.
$700. I do know about it because my wife has been looking all over the place for just 10-pound dumbbells. That's it, just 10-pound dumbbells, because she has 8s and it's driving her nuts. She wants 10s. I'm like, all right, I will find you dumbbells, and you can't. Target's out, and if you try to go to like Amazon, they cost like $80. And I'm like, what is this? Like, it's still pretty crazy out there. It's very interesting. Like when we're all stuck at home, just how it alters our lives and it alters our shopping habits. And
I've been trying to find a Go XLR and a monitor. There's 2 specific monitors that I would choose. One of the 2. Can't find any of them. The Go XLR has been literally sold out for like 2 months, and so everywhere. Like I check. Zax can vouch. Literally Amazon, B&H, Guitar Center, like literally everything. And
Momi tours. I need it's a bigger madness. Table first.
So yeah, I mean, and we're seeing stuff starting to open up for right now. I anticipate that. I mean, I don't know what you guys are doing, but then when they started like opening things up around here, first thing I did was not go out. I'd be like, I would just look out my window and be like, what's gonna happen next? Because it's so volatile and scary out there. It's legit. There's a lot of fear going about. So
there's a lot of craziness happening.
Yeah. So at least when I sit down and I just talk about first world problems, oh my god, blue-eyed blood owls. It's at least a nice distraction. We can't deny reality. It's still crazy stuff going on out there. But, if I can bring up hard-hitting topics like what kind of hair blood elves should have and if they should pick up boy elf hair. Really,
did you see the new tattoos that Torrents are getting?
Did you see the flowers? Oh my god! And I'm not even joking.
The flowers.
They got flowers. Yeah. With the new alpha build that came out, I guess this is how we're going to segue through different subjects.
Yeah, we're into WoW now, dude.
Here we go.
You're welcome, guys. Here.
You're welcome, guys. I brought us back into the real world.
Hell yeah.
No, yeah. In the recent alpha build, which is still not up. Thank you, Blizzard. Torn customizations are in, along with Torn women. And the two things I love about it, I can't wait to talk about this later in my show. Like, they can get flowers in their hair, very wholesome, but they can also have like a certain they can have bangs. Both the men and the women, they can have bangs that are so long it just covers their eyes, and it looks damn hilarious because they look so stupid in such a way that it looks incredible. It's awesome. I love it. Like, it almost makes me want to consider maybe putting a committee together to roll a Torn character. I won't do it, but they just look so cool, and I love that look. And it's funny because I was looking at the other customizations, and they can't. You know how like some of the new stuff, like you can have different colored eyes, or you can be blind. You can have like one
white eye,
or both of them. Yeah, it's amazing, and I think that's great. Torn don't have that. They don't have that, and maybe it's because it's just not in yet, or, and I'm guessing it's because they could just have those really long bangs and just look like the doofus instead. And I think that's the best. That's so cool.
That's like Jim's favorite thing in WoW, is just making the like most ridiculous looking goblin he can find.
I do. Like, and I always have to put like some random like T-Mog that looks like they have either like a bucket on their head or like. I don't know why, dude.
Oh yeah, I mean, one of the main reasons that my main character, a paladin, the main reason, probably the reason I'm going to make him a Kyrian, join that Kyrian covenant in Shadowlands, is because I want to be a topless winged angel person that just looks like a goofball.
Yeah.
All right, and he's like just swinging around a mug and some ghetto ass shield, and
I mean, and you'll get your dude, your little butler that like throws hellstones at you.
Yeah, he's dope. Like at first I thought to myself, man, what the hell is this? What kind of signature BS is that? And I'm like, wait a minute, this is a dope ass potion. This actually is really cool. So yeah, I've been making good use of that in my time during the alpha.
Wait, so you're prop paladin? That's your go-to?
Oh, that's my thing. So if you ask me, hey, what class do I play? Prop pally.
Yo,
there's no spec, there is no differentiation.
All right, so you're a prop paladin that's going Kyrian. Yo, that covenant ability, throwing out like 5 Avenger shields or whatever, that might be the best. Man. Yeah. That might be the best ability I've ever seen in this game. Like,
it's great.
It's so good.
It's great, but then like when coming at it like really analytically, not so much looking at it from a top end level, like, hey, cool, Fan of Shields is great if you're hitting 5 targets.
True.
But what if you're just hitting 1? Then it's literally just Avenger Shield. I'm like, oh
yeah, but let's be real. Having 2 Avenger Shields is awesome.
It is having an extra interrupt because everything applies. So it'll still interrupt and do all the other cool stuff and bounce and everything. So yeah, so we got interrupts on lock.
Yo, what if they made it so if it's in single target, you still throw 5 shields, but it's just at the one guy?
I wish. I wish.
That would be insane.
Yeah, the enemy is like, awesome. Crap. Yeah. It'd be even better if they if they didn't come out at the exact same time. They came out like kind of in a staggered fashion, so you can actually see 5 shields flying at their face.
Oh my god, that would be so funny.
Genius. That'd be great.
All right, Blizzard, do it.
Yeah,
I know you're listening.
Nah,
they're not listening.
Yeah, that's how you make it. Like, because they're talking about this whole like, you're gonna be stuck with the covenant you choose, so you better choose wisely. By some miracle, you got to pick the right one. Good luck. It's like, okay, well, like you said, this button pretty good in dungeons, AOE. If I'm hitting more than one thing, but if I'm doing a raid boss for 10 minutes, like when there's just one guy, this is gonna fall behind, and there's like nothing. There's nothing they can really do about that. So maybe I'm gonna want to switch, but then you're not gonna let me switch. What do you mean you're not going to let me switch?
How do you feel about that?
It's hard to say because I mean we still don't quite have everything on the table yet. I mean, when it comes to cosmetics, it's like, oh, I want to be a topless angel, but then you know what? Next time I want to be like a topless, bone-dressed person, Necrolord, whatever. So that's an easy call to make. But when it comes to the Covenant abilities and Soulbinds and stuff, we still don't have that in test yet. And at least from the data mining that we've seen so far, it doesn't look like we're going to get Soulbinds and Conduits as like a testable product yet. Which is a little disappointing because that gives us all the tool, it gives us that full snapshot that we really need to help make that decision. And I've been looking at some data mine stuff and trying my best to do some analyses and all that, just to let's try to look at this and try to decide, okay, what's going to be the better covenant for this and this. So I can't really think of like some great examples, but like just because Fan of Shields or Divine Toll,
one of the other big ones for Paladin is the you put it's like winter, fall, spring, and you put like a buff.
Oh, the Night Fae one.
Yeah, you put a buff.
Right. Yeah, that applies to the party, I believe.
It'll do yourself if there's no party. But yeah, it'll pick a party.
Yeah,
so and you get nothing again.
Yeah, so personally, I think that sucks. Not because of like what the buffs do. I mean, I think they're like pretty decent and all that. But then just as a coolness factor, if I'm cycling through these buffs every like 15 seconds to 60 seconds, just so I can get like the buff that I really want for the situation, it doesn't feel that great. But if you consider like Soulbinds, like some of the Soulbinds for the Night Fae covenants, like if you were to switch to I forget if it's this one, but like if you use your covenant ability, you get some cool effect that happens. So for a paladin, that means a cool thing can happen every 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Unlike some other class, it's going, they have a cooldown of like 2 minutes or something like that. So there's still a lot to consider when it comes to the covenant decisions. It's not just the ability. Like the Soulbinds can easily make up for a lot of what's going on. And ultimately, the covenant abilities, they do some cool stuff, but they're still not exact. At least the way I'm seeing it so far, they don't redefine your gameplay so much that it's going to be like, okay, this is clearly going to make me like 80% stronger than if I choose like the worst covenant. It's that divide. It's not nearly as big of a thing as what people think.
Yeah, so Soulbinds could shake things up a lot.
Yeah, I was saying that.
Yeah, because I saw they even have like you get like 3 choices for the Soulbinds, and we kind of sort of have an idea of what the conduits and Soulbinds and abilities are going to be, like based on data mine calculators and stuff like that. But even like choosing between the 3 Soulbinds you have, they're like kind of sort of separated into like, this guy is a tanky survivability Soulbind, this one's the damage kind of do more DPS one, and this is the utility kind of one, which is like
I've been working on a video for this that I did want to do this week, but then I was like, screw it, it's my birthday, I don't care. I'll do
for the next month straight.
Yeah, it's my birthday month. Yeah. But when looking through, I was like, you know what? Everything here can be tanky. Everything here can be survivability. Everything here can be like a utility of some sort. And there's some of those Soulbind ability things that are just kind of like weird. It's like, hey, you can get more resources every time you complete a battleground or a dungeon, and as you complete consecutive ones, then you get more of these resources. I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird but cool. But for the most part, like if I'm looking at all of these different Soulbinds, like for the Kyrian, for example, like I can have 3 different tanking profiles of sorts. It's not just like, oh, I'm not going to ever choose that one because that one is clearly for healing. Nah, it's not even that. It's like having a different profile. So it's going to be complicated and it's going to drive people nuts, but I love it because it has that. It brings back that role play feel of, I'm going to make this the way that I want. So like I see it as there's going to be 2 kinds of people there are 2 kinds of approaches for these Soulbinds. One is, I'm going to do what someone tells me. I'm going to do what Icy Veins and The Sims tell me because I don't have any imagination. But the other, actually, let me walk that back. I don't mean to talk down on that, because performance is important. All right. So let me walk that back just a little bit. But everyone else is going to be like, oh, let me just kind of feel my way through, or just kind of figure it out, or I'll just plop stuff down and like see if it makes any difference. And from there, it's up to us to decide, like, okay, do I really want to jump into that role play feel and make these Soulbinds do the things that I want to do? This might be kind of cool. So this is going to be a really interesting experiment. And I understand when Blizzard said that covenants are the biggest feature of the expansion. People have been saying it's Torghast and all that, and it is a huge activity, a big thing to do, a possibly new end game. But when it comes to just customizing your character and the role play aspect of it, covenants are making a lot of endeavors. I don't know if it's going to be successful, but they're trying to do a lot.
Yeah, some interesting stuff going on, and like you said, like it seems like there's going to be, kind of like two ways of looking at it. Like you enjoy the RPG kind of storytelling, the feel of it, like you're dedicating yourself to a covenant, you just do what feels good. And then there's like the numbers side where you just sim it and go with what it says. And like I feel like I'm a little bit torn on that, because I'm kind of like obligated, if you want to say that. I like min-maxing, sim crafting, all that kind of stuff, making my character do the biggest numbers and that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I don't want to be like miserable and like not enjoy what I'm doing. So like I'm going to be choosing a Soulbind or a covenant or ability or whatever based on like what feels good. Like this is just fun. It feels good to have this, to have fan of shields, that just feels dope.
Yeah.
But then the numbers say, no, you got to play this one. It's going to be like kind of heartbreaking if that's how it is. No, you got to play this one on this fight. Sorry. Or no, you never get to use that one because it's under 2. It's like, man, how are they gonna get this right? I mean, Soulbinds can have a lot to do with it, but that's gonna be a mess.
Yeah, it's heavy. So
yeah, the Soulbinds you were saying a couple of days ago would be amazing if the Soulbinds give you the option to do things like when you put a blessing on someone else, you also get the blessing. Or if you throw out the fan of knives, and it always throws out 5 shields, or sorry, fan of shields. It always throws out 5 shields, and things like that. And that's where I think it really shakes it up. But where do you find yourself, Soul, on balance? Like how do you think Blizzard does that balance? And do you think it's as important as the filthy elites, the 1%ers try to make it out to be?
I mean, I prefer that they balance within like a certain threshold. Like I think their typical balancing, I believe that their comfort is like as long as specs are within 5 to 7% of each other. So like the lowest, the biggest delta between the classes when it comes to sims and all that. As long as it's like 5 to 7 or even 10%. Then they're okay with that, because for the most part, people aren't going to be exploring those, that realm, except at the very, very top end where, you just see the sims because they're the ones that are that sims are based off of. It's based on the best of the best, but not everyone's going to do that. Like I know that I don't have the skill cap to perform at the level of that some people do, and yet there are some weeks and that I'll be doing raids, or whether it's normal or heroic or whatever, because I'm just a heroic raider, where I'll see hey, cool, I'm doing like hitting the high 90s and stuff, so at least I know that among my peers I'm doing well. And I think that's what's most important. As long as you're doing well among your peers and amongst your item level group and stuff, I think that's what matters more than looking at like the full aggregate of hundreds of people who you're not even playing with and be like, okay, well, they're doing good, so my class sucks, so Blizz, you gotta like do something about it, because and then Blizzard's like, oh, these motherfuckers. Fine. And it's funny because people complain that Blizzard is, oh, well, gosh, Blizzard clearly doesn't know what they're doing. They just keep looking at the data and the numbers and all that stuff. But at the same time, you get these top end players and even mid-level players that are like, well, according to the Sims and the data and blah, blah, blah. So it's a weird conversation to have, and something that I try not to participate in too much, balance and all that. For me, my if I was a game designer, and you should be thankful that I'm not, my approach has always been put the fun first.
True.
Fun first, and then balance, work that out later. It's kind of like and then just try to get make it so that there's at least a relatively small delta between different specs or different decisions and stuff. But if there's something that's totally useless, but people just like it anyway because it feels fun, fuck it, just leave it alone. If people want to stay down there but have fun doing it, that's cool. And if there's something that's really high skill cap, but it's rewarded with being the top performing thing to do, I guess Fire Mage kind of sort of comes to mind. Cool. Let people embrace that and let people work hard to get towards that, because that's how you keep capturing that wider field of skill level.
That's true.
Yeah. So Zach's he kind of, like you just said, he kind of struggles with this a little bit himself, but we were talking about there's right now Outlaw is insane right now on alpha. It's just insane. Even in live it's pretty insane, but on alpha it's really insane, right? And you compare that to assassination, which you need to do so much. You have to have several dots on several targets at the same time, not missing a single global, tab targeting, hitting your cooldowns at the right time, re-vanishing, re-putting up gorilla. You have to make sure that you're pooling the right amount of energy, right, whatever, and you're doing worse than an outlaw rogue that just stands there and does their single target rotation while hitting Blade Flurry. And that stuff is what feels bad. I used to be a Feral main, right? And when I used to bust my ass, I used to get 99 parse on something, and then the Warlock, who literally does nothing, and then he's just crushing my damage, and he's at a measly green or blue parse, and I'm sitting there busting my ass doing everything I can, and I there's no way I can beat him.
It's a weird feeling.
It's a weird feeling, and it's not an incorrect way to feel about when as a competitive minded person. And we all are to a certain extent. It's okay, we want to do as well as everyone else in the way that we want to play. It's like if I play a prop paladin, I feel bad because I have a lower HP pool than pretty much all the other tanking classes. And sometimes that feels pretty bad, but I know that I make up for it in other ways that the other tank classes don't provide. At least that's what I tell myself at night before I go to bed, because otherwise I'll just never sleep. But I think that's what Blizzard embraces, the fact that yes, there are differences in skill caps. There are differences in how certain classes play, and it'll feel like this easy class that can perform well is going to feel more fulfilling. So I don't know. I try to encourage the people on my raid team. I try to just encourage them. Do the best for yourself. Compete with yourself first.
Oh, always.
And try to do better. And from there, once you want to put yourself up against your counterparts, and take a look at Warcraft logs and study what they do. People within your item level bracket. What's the difference between you and them? And sometimes it's not your shitty attitude. Sometimes you're missing something and all that. But doing it between classes and hey, I want my class to be just as good as such and such. It's like an unwritten request, a silent request to homogenize and make everything feel so similar that you take away some of that uniqueness. Like you look at classic WoW, it's like, oh, everyone's like a warrior or whatever. And and sorry, and I apologize, I barely know dick about high end classic WoW stuff. But they perform, they do so much deeps compared to XYZ spec, and that really
paladin
sucks. Sure. Wow, really? Oh, that sucks. But
yeah.
But that's okay. I guess we should challenge ourselves with that question. Is that can that be okay? Is that
I told
acceptable?
Zax we need to delete combat logs. Still have damage meters, but they need to make it so that you cannot combat log and then upload it externally. I think that is a disaster for the game. He totally disagrees, which is right. Rightfully so. He wants to be able to compete. He competes in the way that he likes the game. But for me, like, I really do believe that it is bad for the game that you can upload the combat log and then compare yourself to millions of people. Yeah. Like that is really like you have 25 people that you're playing with, but you're comparing yourself to 1 million, and that's insane.
It's scary. It's a dangerous conversation to have. You brave person, you. But I in many respects, I agree. Advanced combat logging, it reduces it reduces the gameplay into like this mathematical, scientific sort of thing. Right. And that's not a way that I enjoy approaching the game. But
I don't think anyone actually enjoys that. I think it's just a part of the game.
But we at least got to respect that there are influential people that very much like how like doing things that way. They like being able to calculate all that stuff. It's been an RPG thing. Mm-hmm. People have always we've always done it at a certain level. We're just doing it at a very micromanagement level, right. Down to the global, down to like the single stat sort of thing. So I don't know how to approach it, because this is the culture that we live in now. Mm-hmm. It's the culture of min-max, and
you're not even min-maxing. The computer is doing it for you.
Yeah, and there are all these tools that help decide things for us. So like I often joke, it's like, okay, yeah, are you gonna play the game, or are you gonna let the machine or let the computer tell you what to do? Right. Are you even playing anymore? And that's a legit challenging question to ask people. It's like, are you playing the game, or are you just doing what the guide tells you and doing what Blood Mallet tells you? Because part of the thing about role playing is this whole journey of self-discovery, and in my opinion, I think people have abandoned that in favor of, well, I want to be like top deeps, I want to be the top parts, and they value high score over role play, which is if that's how it is, that's how it is. But you can't complain then, with all these like different things that Blizzard has to do to try to balance that, because that's just kind of the culture these days. So it's a little sad. So,
and for sure, like something has been lost, like this, like simming, Warcraft logs, all that good stuff. Like I use that stuff every day of my life, and I enjoy it to some extent. 100% something about the game has been lost, and I think it shows probably even more so in Classic, where like Classic is supposed to be the bastion of bastion. Supposed to be the I can't say bastion anymore. It's weird.
It's the Kyrian.
Let's go with Paragon, right? Paragon.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Supposed to be the epitome. There we go. Of just do what you want. And like you can try to math it out like in your head. Looking at abilities and stuff, but like the game isn't built to be min-maxed in a way. And then Warcraft logs and speed running and everybody knowing everything, the internet like has just it's a different game. You just can't, like, you can try to play it the same way you did in the past, but it's just totally different, and you lose something with that. You gain something too. You gain a different thing than you lost, which attracts a different crowd, and that's probably a big reason why WoW isn't as popular as it was back in the day. Because it's a totally different beast now. But I can't imagine how Blizzard's supposed to handle all that, because that's a mess.
Did you guys see the Reddit post of the whole like I can't seem to understand why new players aren't getting in, and it's all the currencies in BFA.
Yeah.
It's like there's like 9 currencies, dude. Like, it is insane the amount of currencies that are in the game right now. I know I literally just hijacked this conversation real quick.
But God.
But it's like
dude.
the whole new player thing is just crazy. There's just, like someone comes into the game and they're like, all right, I finally did it. I learned all the abilities, got the talents, went up to max level. What do I got to do? Get 35 different currencies and figure out what each of them are. It's like, whoa.
Yep. I remember watching watching people making videos like trying to explain like 8.3. Like there's already a bunch of currencies in the game, but they're like, all right, 8.3. So you're gonna get these coalescing things to make this vessel thing, which you're gonna use. Get that, you're gonna go in there to get this currency, which buys you this thing that gets you this thing. And then at the end of the video, you're like, huh? Like,
it's insane.
I gotta rewind, man. Can you give me a summary or like what am I getting?
No, I know that I was struggling with that too, because I'm like, okay, I'm balancing all these different things, but and I tried to take a step back too. I'm like, okay, well, what would have been the alternative if it wasn't, because currency is just one of the different ways that any game dev would try to pace certain things, pace things in a very visual way. It's like, okay, how long until I can get this thing? Oh, okay, according to how much currency I have and how much currency gain that I'll get today, cool, I'll be able to get this thing like in 2 days. Okay, great. And that's a tough one, because Blizzard works in like they compartmentalize like their features. It's like, okay, during this patch, we're in Mechagon and Nazjatar, so we're gonna work with all these crazy
mana
things.
pearls.
Yeah, with the mana pearls and the spare parts and that sort of thing. And they're thematic. They make they're thematic. They make sense. They're region specific. That's cool. They live and they live and die there. Like I'm okay with that. And I guess that's what makes me tolerant of all these many kinds of currencies, because at least they are things that will eventually leave behind, and it's not something that we're going to have to go back 4 years later and be like, well, I guess I gotta get this stuff so I can get my best in slot thingamabob or whatever.
Will you have to go, like, if we're in Shadowlands, we're deep into Shadowlands, like 9.2, like we're deep, and like you need something that's like a transmog from Nazjatar, are you gonna have to get mana pearls?
Well, in that context, no, because like if you needed, so I'm being nitpicky here. Like if you want like the pets that comes from getting the mana pearls and stuff, suck it up and deal with it. It's a cosmetic thing. Just go for it. And like as for like the armor sets, they only cost like five mana pearls anyway. It's not like when you upgrade them. It's not like if you upgrade Benthic gear, they look any different or something like that. So, but I mean, I get what you're saying, but there are. I don't know. I'm skeptic as to should things be like that much easier to get? Should they lift currency restrictions and just let you like buy them with gold? When
I'm with you on that. Like I don't want the game to be easier. Like in that sense, like I want it to be a difficult, not difficult, but like if you're getting a reward, then there should be some challenge behind that reward. I just think that sometimes it gets a little cluttered, right? Like sometimes like they could make coalescent visions. Or corrupted mementos, like they could make those by the things that mana pearls buy, right? Like like doing whatever the content is right now, you could be like, all right, now you have an excess of these things, you could use that to do that. Maybe that would be a solution. I don't know. I don't really like visions. I know a lot of people liked visions, so so there's a lot of people.
Wait, you don't like visions and you put me on your podcast? Come on.
This is why this is why you have the podcast.
Well, dude, you know what's funny is, so when Visions came out, I was like instantly like, I did the first one and I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, I'm not a fan. And then Jim was like, no, dude, these are dope, dude. Look, I'm doing it as a tank, man. I just did my 17th one, and then when he's doing the 70th one, he's like, oh. Oh, okay. I get it now.
No,
Yeah.
you want to know the moment? You want to know the exact moment I stopped liking visions? When I was doing them on a tank, and I come into this I'm like in it, dude. Like I've been working my ass off, like running through doing my thing, and then I'm like, dude, Zach, dude, I just got, I just went through my second zone. I went back. I got my pieces. I got my things in it. And he's like, yeah, I just did 2 masks. And it's like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, you're just playing a tank. Tanks suck. And I was like,
yeah, and then
what do you mean tanks suck? He's like, you should just go Windwalker. I was like, Windwalker sucks. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, yeah, I know you're having fun right now, but so you're struggling as a tank. You could just switch specs. It's way easier. I'm doing this, and like I'm not really trying that hard.
He's like, it's not hard at all. Like
these people, I have people in my guild that are going in there as 5 people. They beat the entire game. They kill the last boss in division somehow, dude. I don't know. Like they're just destroying the entire world in there. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Oh my god! And I didn't want to do a Windwalker. That's like not what I was having fun in. This is shit all over my Cheerios.
yeah. My journey was long. But when I was just doing it with my protection paladin, like I did it as a tank, motherfuckers. Like when I did it as a tank, it was like from the very beginning to the very end, and I finally kind of like started falling off from doing visions maybe about a month ago. It was fun the whole way through. I was a man obsessed. I was I know. I was the target audience. I was the kind of person that Blizzard was like, yeah, we got one, hell yeah, and I loved it because it was one part. A big part of it was because it was solo. Like I wanted something that felt hard, that I didn't want to burden myself with people. I didn't. I wanted to do something on my own. And so I didn't mind like the grind for coalescent visions and that whole journey. That wasn't a big deal because it's like, oh, I'm just doing dailies. I'm doing the same thing that I would be normally doing anyway. Fine, this is no big deal at all. But then when I finished and I got that 5 mask and I felt good about it, it almost felt Mage Tower good.
Yeah. Listen. No. You can't make a statement. Listen. You can't make a statement like that. I think I'm pretty sure I had to get therapy after the Mage Tower. Okay, so you need. It was such an overwhelming feeling that nothing else in life gave me satisfaction.
He lived in the Mage Tower.
No, I feel you because like when I did that and I did the Protection Paladin one, which, as far as I know, is looked back on as the most difficult version.
Yeah, because there's no way to get back up if you got knocked off.
Yeah. So when I did it, and I did it before the Tomb of Sargeras raid happened, and that felt good. That's really good. Man, so that felt like a great accomplishment. And because of that, and because I knew that it was the hardest version of it, I looked at everything else and I was like, fuck it, this is not worth it. This is beneath me. I'm just gonna retire at the top.
These peasants, demon hunters.
So I didn't even bother. I didn't bother doing like any of the other challenges because I was like, okay, yeah, I know I'm gonna miss out on stuff and I'm gonna feel bad later, and I do feel bad later. But at the time, I was like, screw it. It's not worth it for me. Yeah, so I was looking for that same feeling here in Perfect Visions, and to many extents, like I got that. First being able to get it as a Protection Paladin fairly early, felt good. But then after that, I was like, okay, what's next? And at the same time, I was just kind of, well, it's the end of the expansion. Like I can do whatever I want at this point. Am I going to get the same sort of feeling with these other classes, knowing that there isn't like a cool transmog reward at the end or a mount or anything that's like unique for each class? And that's a big minus for Horrific Visions. Yep. And it's a real bummer. And we'll talk about Torghast later. But
I don't like tiered progression in those type of challenges. That's the thing for me. So like the Mage Tower was like, if I did it at the time that I did it, which I was a Guardian Druid without without either of the correct legendaries, and so like it's not for lack of trying, like I tried my ass off to get these legendaries. So I go in there and it took me like 200 or so attempts, but it was like if I got it and I seen someone else with it, it was like that dude, that dude knows how to play the game, right? Like it was those type of things. It's like with visions, everything you get from the vision, you can get by being worse at it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you don't get that same type of like when you get this shield or you get this weapon or you get this bear skin, like you're like that guy knows how to play the fucking game. And that to me was what made Mage Tower so awesome, is that it was hard. It was hard for everyone playing Guardian, the same minus legendaries and gear, right? Like obviously like some things made it a bit easier, but that's the one thing I wish they would have changed about it, is that when you walked into that damn Mage Tower, you could buy the item that you wanted to do it, like the legendary at least, or give everyone the same type of template type deal. That way, like I know that if I completed this shit, like I'm as good as it gets in this aspect. And that's what did it. That's what kind of killed it for me with the visions, is like Zax was able to get the same rewards like in half the time because he was playing a mage. And it was like I was like, oh, okay.
See, funny enough, like if legendary stuffs back in Legion, if they were purchasable back then I would probably feel different about the Mage Tower, because then at least classes would feel a lot more accessible. But at the time, it's like, okay, I have a time limit to like complete this thing before the content becomes not so relevant. So I think that if they did the Mage Tower at the end of the expansion, I would have had a blast. I would have done it. I would have done the same thing that I did with Visions, do it with every class, and
I did
buy
quite
all
a bit
the
on other classes.
Yeah. And so I think the timing of Horrific Visions, coming in at the end of the expansion, knowing that there's nothing, that there's no tier that's going to make this content feel irrelevant later, not until the new expansion, of course. That's what opened me up to play other classes, and that's something that no feature has ever made me do before. Mage Tower didn't do it. Faster leveling, none of that stuff made me interested in actively playing and learning other classes. But Horrific Visions, it motivated me. It got me so fired up. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play a shaman. This is gonna be cool. Oh my god, I'm doing so poorly at this. And then my stream is screaming at me, Cap Totem, fucking press Cap Totem. And I'm like, what, Cap Totem? And then so I would hit my hotkey for a Cap Totem. I'm like, nothing's happening. And they're like, dude, you gotta click the place where you want to put Cap Totem. I'm like, oh man, that's right. So like the other big minus about Horrific Visions is that it's just one map, or two maps. I'm sorry, two maps, some variations, and that sucks because you'll master it and it feels good to have mastered it. That's great, and then it feels slightly different when you do it with like a class that you're very unfamiliar with, which is the big thing for me. I'm so unfamiliar with all these different classes that every time I jump back in, it was like playing the thing all over again. Yeah, for the most part. So that's where I got my jollies. But after a while, like I know that there are some classes where it's like, okay, I know I didn't really learn the class. All I did was like just kind of game what I knew and use my knowledge of layout, as well as I was gonna say anima powers, essences, just game that stuff.
I know where he's going with this.
Just game that stuff, and I knew everything to do, and so I wasn't really playing the class. I was like, all right, here's balanced druid. This is gonna be a freaking joke. So I just like dot and watch everything die. I'm like, cool, 5 chests. Woo, okay, project done. Let's move on. So having only one map, that sort of sucks.
So you're saying one map, you're saying, it needs to be playable on multiple classes and really get you excited to play multiple classes. It has to have a skill cap that's tangible, that you can see. And it also has to be in the new expansion, and it has to be the most fun that they've made anything.
Yeah.
What's that? Sounds like Torghast to me.
Heyo.
Yo, I was gonna say, like, talking about like wanting to play classes or specs that you've never played before. Torghast, dude. Yeah, like,
so good.
I went in there as a disc priest, dude. Like
so
I was
good.
like, I wonder what disc priest does. I've never played disc in my life, and I saw that like disc priest was doing crazy stuff. I was like, yeah, I'll just go in there and try it out. Like, how did they? Yo, Torghast. Can we talk about Torghast, dude?
Have you played Warrior on Torghast? I know you played
Torghast is crazy.
I played every class except for Rogue because Rogues are.
Have you blade stormed a whole floor before?
I haven't blade stormed a whole floor, but I have. Well, let's see, I'm trying to think of mage. I have arcane explosion an entire floor.
Yes,
I have.
So
I would blizzard an entire floor.
Yes.
It's not well like with the warrior. The fun that I had with it was like the whole thing about whirlwind being like a Gorfian's grasp. Like you could just pop constantly.
Oh my god!
So busted.
Dude. And then it's like it's like all right, added 40% damage, also heals you for 50% of the damage. You're like, Jesus Christ, doesn't cost any rage. You're like, what are you doing? And then it's like, all right, there's this one guy where it's it's not a big pack. It's like Shattering Throw just destroys that guy. It's like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's nuts, and it's funny because like the whole concept of Torghast and anima powers, at least currently anima powers, it sort of makes it feel spec agnostic. Like it doesn't matter how you go in, although the numbers do change, like the HP values and I think the damage of enemies, they do shift depending on the class, or I'm sorry, depending on the spec that you go in as. But like when I went in as a disc priest, I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to penance stuff and do this and do this. But for the most part, like it was like me relying on the anima powers to kind of carry me through. Like, right. I'm like, cool. I'm like doing a lot of mind control stuff and getting maw rats and dragging the maw rats over and just being a bomber. And this is amazing. This is great. Or being as a warrior. It's like I started out going in as Fury, but I'm like, okay, let me just switch to prod because I'm getting all these weird tanky things. It's like, okay, I like on hit, I get a chance to proc my Ignore Pain, which happens to proc Enrage Regeneration, which happens to make certain cooldowns become available again. And so I'm just standing there and things are dying, and it was amazing.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. So and when I finally went in as a paladin, because that was finally made available the other week. Thanks, Blizzard. Jeez,
yeah, right.
Finally, so goddamn long. Saving the best for last. Just running in and throwing Fan of Shields at a bunch of targets at once, and there are rats in there, and everything explodes. So good.
It feels so great. Well, what covenant were you with on the paladin?
I was Kyrian because right now
the shields, the Fan of Shields.
Yeah, so at least at the moment, Kyrian are the Kyrian Covenant abilities are the only ones that have anima powers currently. None of the other ones do. So I mean, you can go in and try out the anima power. Try out the Covenant abilities. That's cool, but you don't get any enhancements for it.
Okay, which is I didn't even realize that. Did you Did you notice that when you go in as Kyrian, or you have a friend, have you done it with friends at all? Like, have you done parties in there, Torghast?
I have not. No, I haven't done it in groups at all.
Yeah, I'm not sure if everyone gets the same covenant or not, because right now, like, that's what it was earlier when Zax and I were doing it, but right now it seems like you just get a random covenant, like, as you go in, and we don't know if it's class specific or how it changes, because we thought it changed every week. So we're not too sure about how that works right now.
It's at the moment, this is all alpha stuff that they're doing, the whole rotation. But it's supposed to change every day at a certain time. I don't know what time. It's not like a server. I'm sorry, it's not like a daily reset thing, but it resets every day at some point. And then the cell blocks, that was supposed to change every day according to a blog post, but that hasn't been happening. It's just been like the same 2 cell blocks, Skuldus Halls and Upper Reaches. So that's it. So you just kind of like just go through those over and over again and try to climb. But I think it's just been kind of a random rotation. So ever since Paladins came in, I'm like, okay, let's try to do some meaningful testing. But it's hard because only the Kyrian Covenant abilities have anima powers. None of the other ones do yet. I think they're trying to bring a couple of in. Like I think they had some Necrolord and Venthyr stuff come in, but it's been very, very limited so far.
I got a dicey question for you.
Shoot.
How do you feel about Torments?
When they first came in,
this is a hot topic.
Yeah, when they first came in, I was fine with it because they're not a mechanic that I know that I would pay attention. So I'm the type where it's like, okay, like this is what I'm given, I'm gonna work with it because I play video games, and that's the whole point, right? Like you're given these conditions and deal with it. So I deal with it. And at least like Blizzard was thoughtful enough at the time to be like, okay, well, you need to rest on every floor you can rest and change your talents and do all that stuff, and then you can go AFK, play with yourself, whatever, and that's cool. That's totally fine. Not everyone can deal with it. So I know I got into a very prolonged conversation with critics over this idea, and it turned out to just be like more trouble than it was worth, both the mechanic itself and even just trying to talk about it. So at least currently they heavily nerf that stuff to where like there's no timed decay anymore. It's just a flat, hey, things are harder as you climb the tower, and the numbers. The numbers are going to be changed because right now you don't notice a damn thing. It's like, oh, they got 25% more health. Uh-oh, guys. I guess it's I guess they're gonna live like half a second longer. So it's not a big deal.
There does need to be a break point, like a little boost break point, where it's like after 10 or 15, 20, they get like it becomes double or something.
Yeah, so I mean the numbers, I'm sure they're going to shift. Like right now, is off the top of my head, it's like starting at floor 13. That's when Torments first start to appear. But then I would say like after a certain floor, or after a certain starting floor, instead of it increasing every 5% per floor, it should increase by 10% per floor. Something to just kind of make it exponentially harder as you climb higher.
And can they otherwise also it's just not please the end boss? Can they make the end boss of whatever whatever floor you're doing? If you're on 18 and that's the end of the Torghast for you at the time, can they make that end boss not be one-shottable? That would be great. Like throwing shattering throw at the last boss and it just deletes it. It's like, oh, that was a really fun Torghast that ended not so great.
Yeah, so like I think that's going to be hard to avoid because there are certain anima. I mean, I guess it's just a matter of tuning anima powers, or having something like, oh, this is a boss, so they're going to take half of the damage that you deal with anima powers. They take half anima power damage or 25% anima power. So that's one thing to avoid the whole idea of, okay, here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm just going to not melee this entire time and build up stacks of this thing. So that way my next melee attack will do 8 billion damage. And then, so there are ways to go about it. It's easy enough to dream up concepts and other design things to create a little bit more challenge, or at least to curb some of the ridiculousness that we've been finding in Torghast. Because right now it has this weird pacing that is not very familiar in more traditional roguelike games. Like normally you drop in, you pick up some powers, and it feels easy at first, but it gets harder as you climb.
Right.
At the moment in Torghast, if you can choose a very hard difficulty, excuse me, you can choose a hard difficulty. Like the highest starting floor that I've managed, I think, was like 25, which I think is like pretty good. I think that's pretty good.
That's impossibly hard, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like no, I mean, getting through that with no animal powers or anything, like or the one that you get, that's crazy.
Yeah. So that's hard. But then after I got to my third floor, you go into like this broker floor, you can buy some powers and get lucky enough to get some bonus powers and stuff, and then it becomes much easier. And it keeps getting easier. Yeah. So that's the kind of thing that I'm going to expect Blizzard to balance later on. And so I'm trying to avoid the whole mindset of, oh, this is what I expect. It's gonna feel like freaking Dynasty Warriors by the end, where I'm just like, come on, bitches, and I'm like 10 feet tall, and I'm just
where it's based on how fast you can move rather than actually like trying to like kill the mobs.
Yeah. So the challenge is it feels rewarding having all these cool powers, but it doesn't feel as fulfilling because you're just like trucking stuff so easily that it doesn't give you that feeling of cool. This is what I've been able to achieve because you're at like escape velocity. Like you're impossibly hard to kill at that point.
So like I guess like to put it generally, the issue is that your character scales way faster than the enemies do.
Yes,
like you scale up in power way faster than they do, and that's
we're going too fast, or they're not going fast enough. But I expect that it's still alpha. It's still alpha. Alpha.
Yeah, I know.
Things are gonna change.
How much, like, dude, the BFA alpha, I was like not excited, and this I know you can whatever, but like we were going through all the classes, we were testing out things, and like we were figuring out like what builds would be good, and Zach kept saying like this feels unfinished, and then we like when we finally got the Azurite gear, we're like this they're gonna change it. This is not the way that they're gonna. But everything in Shadowlands is so good. Everything. The art is so good. The classes are so good. The Torghast is so good. The dungeons are so good.
I got a couple points here. So, have you been in an alpha like this before, like this early?
Yes, I've been in a lot of alphas actually.
Oh, okay. So this is the first alpha that we've been in. Like we've been in the betas before.
Ooh, congratulations!
I don't know.
Hell yeah!
I don't know how early on we got it. Yeah, so this is the first alpha. So we're super not used to being able to actively do stuff when it's this early on. Which it's just amazing to be able to do. It's so fun. So you've done it before. Does this alpha feel any different so far than previous ones? Like, does the Shadowlands alpha feel more progressed or like anything like that compared to BFA?
This is magnitude more different, especially compared to BFA. So let me take a little trip down memory lane. So Warlords alpha. When I was testing that one, like the main feature was the garrison. So we were able to kind of test garrison features like fairly early. But my memory on that is really spotty. But at least we were able to like jump into that stuff because everything else was just the usual fare. Hey, we got dungeons and heroic dungeons, and well, we haven't thought of mythic dungeons yet, but we got those things. It was very bare bones, and garrison was like it. That was the feature. When it came to Legion, the Legion alpha, like it was kind of haphazard because they made classes not testable until they had artifacts ready to be testable. So for a while it's like, so when can I play a paladin? Not yet. Great. Okay. So like classes needed to be revealed in stages. And so at least the 7.0, like the first version of Legion, it wasn't so bad because it was just artifacts and order halls. So
Gotcha.
like we were able to see like how things were going as we were as we were going through very early. BFA was by comparison pretty disastrous compared to all the other ones because, as you're saying, like there was very little to test until endgame.
Yeah,
that sucks because we got very little, and I was one of those folks. I was like, okay, well, this is what we're seeing. It's probably going to change. It's still beta, but of course, I'm talking beta. I'm talking beta now, and it was a little too late.
Beta for Azeroth.
Yeah, so for the rest of the expansion, Blizzard was playing catch up. Like essences were, as far as I can recall, essences were only a thing because of the failings of Azurite gear.
Right.
So it's BFA could have been a very different expansion if they just had those sorts of systems testable earlier, or at least they can start putting it in our hands earlier, so they could possibly reiterate.
Okay.
So with Shadowlands, damn. This is the first time that I recall in recent memory where during an alpha stage, as they made things available, they gave us previews. They gave us blog previews for the general public, not just for testers. So it was really cool compared to like other expansions and betas and whatever's, where when you got those previews in the pre-patch, really late, so it like the communication, and here's me kissing Blizzard's ass for a while. The communication from Blizzard these days has been exponentially better than it has been.
That's what I was gonna ask about, man.
They're talking to us, and more importantly, they're listening and responding and reiterating. I was particularly impressed by the the Q&A with Paul Cubitt and Slootbag, and that there was going to be a follow-up expected, which unfortunately was delayed because Black Lives Matter. But the fact that they're gesturing out and responding to people about stuff like this has been great. It's been amazing. Now, that said, talk is talk, and we're still reiterating, and for all we know, this thing might still not turn out to be like the greatest thing. But the fact that they're reaching out like this is something that I want to expect in the future. I want to I want this sort of communication to continue, and they've been doing a lot for that. So yeah, this alpha has felt very different. We've had more stuff testable earlier on. We've had I mean, that's the big thing. We've had more stuff to be testable early on. The concern that I still have, though, is with Soulbinds, because that's one, to me, that's like the closest thing to a possible like Azerite 2.0, where we get something testable too late. And I think that the Soulbinds are going to be a huge deal. So that's my take.
So you got, because I mean, like I feel the same way. Like this alpha so far has been insane. Like just compared to BFA, or like I did a little bit of Legion beta and stuff like that. It's felt amazing, and I'm just wondering, for somebody that has like the past history, like comparing them, that sounds like it actually is like better than before. And with this, I've been BFA, I'm gonna go out on a huge limb here, right, and say BFA was terrible, relatively to other expansions. I'm gonna rate it as the worst one they put out. So my expectations and stuff for Blizzard have been super low all the way through BFA. I've just not been a fan. It's just my not my cup of tea, right? So going into Shadowlands, I'm like, it's another expansion. It's just gonna be more of the same, and blah blah blah. But then you get alpha, and you go in there, and you're like, Torghast, who did this? Who hired this guy?
Who was responsible?
Who made Torghast? This guy doesn't work for Blizzard. This thing is amazing. And then it's like, and just so many things. The art team's just popping off more than usual. The fact that this blows my mind every day, that they are actually listening to feedback, and they're like, hey, Fire Mages, try this. Oh, you don't like this? Here's Phoenix Flames back, like within a week. And they're like, all right, try this. All right, you don't like Phoenix, whatever. Like they're doing stuff fast. I feel like I've never seen this before, and it's like kind of amazing.
We're putting in Torments. We're taking out Torments.
This seems like it's got to be unprecedented, right?
And it's because we're still in the alpha state. Like once things hit beta, that means that feature wise, like they're done. It's just time for them to polish things and then start adding like little nuanced stuff. And it's really, really hard for any game dev to pivot once they get into that. Well, I mean, Blizzard, their dev cycles, I don't really know how they work, but basically it's like, okay, alpha, things are malleable. Beta, not so much. Live, well, wait for the
Exactly.
So the fact that, like I said, like things are being testable so early, like I remember when they were first talking, when they were first putting out blog posts, hey, here's what's testable, blah blah blah, and we're going to have Torghast and Reverend Dreath available within a couple of weeks. I'm like, oh, that's good, cool. Because that was a big thing for me. Like I wanted things to be testable earlier. I wanted things like Soulbinds to be testable. Like I don't care if they just put us in goddamn Orgrimmar and they just and you just talk to an NPC and it's like, hey, give me all the Soulbinds, and then boom, there you go. And then you just hit a target dummy. That's it. That's all I would care for. But but that's not what they like doing. They love to show and tell. They want to show off. They want to wow people with the visuals and all that stuff too. So when they announced like Torghast and all that stuff, and then the next week they're all like, "Hey, we're gonna make it testable now." I'm like, "Oh shit, a week early?
Yeah.
Way to under promise and over deliver, motherfuckers." I was impressed. So I was wowed by that. And
what about dungeons? You test out dungeons at all?
I have a little personal thing where I don't test dungeons. I don't test dungeons. I don't test raids. I like going in. I just like going in dry.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. I get that. Yeah, for the experience.
Yeah. So I want to like wow myself and go in and experience that stuff. Like especially the raids. Like I want to go in there blind with the guild, and I know that that's kind of the guild policy. No guides. Nothing like that. We just like learn as we go and we die. And I know that there's some.
Wait a second, you're on a guide podcast. We're forced to go in.
Hey,
we have
whatever. Nah, not here.
Yeah, not dude, me and Zax have talked about that so much. How awesome it would be to be in a guild that no guides, no videos, you just go in and you wipe and then you figure it out. That's the dream. Dude. That's the absolute dream.
Like, you even hear like limit players talking about that. They're like, yeah, I don't like. I wouldn't want to raid anywhere else because when you raid here, there's no guide.
Yeah,
you are literally the first people seeing it. There's no guide you can watch. You're seeing it for the first time. You got to figure it out. Like that's the dream.
Big respect to those teams that sit down, figure it out without the gear, without the knowledge, and they just gotta tough it out, And my team, like, of course, it's not the same experience. We have like arguably better gear, but not exactly the skill and all that stuff. But part of the fun, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier about Sims and stuff. Part of the fun is discovering things.
Yeah,
and I know that there's a dungeon journal that helps to disseminate things, and we can look at tooltips and understand all that stuff too. But a big part of playing the game is making mistakes and learning from them. And it kind of goes back to the conversation about like how the community is and how Sims are and how we're not allowed to make mistakes, otherwise this group is clearly not going to get this in one shot / leave. And I'm like, oh, that's great.
Hashtag remove alpha, or sorry, hashtag remove LFR.
Right.
LFR.
So going back to that, it's just that's why I don't do dungeons and raid testing. I want to figure things out.
Yeah. All right, so I got some rapid fire questions. Okay. You ready for this? I should have done this at the beginning. Yeah, I should have done this at the beginning, but I'm dumb. So, but yeah, I got some.
See, that's how you know how long-winded I am. I'll talk and talk and talk.
It's one of those things. I should have had a better intro for you, dude, and then would have segued right into these rapid fires. But that's just how it goes. So all right, here we go. So, when did you first start playing WoW? What expansion, or do you remember what year or anything?
Late beta. It was late beta.
Oh, like vanilla.
Yeah, the OG like me. My. Hell yeah.
Fist bump.
Okay.
Hey.
So you've been around forever. You've seen them all. All right. So, being that you've seen them all, do you have a favorite expansion so far?
A favorite expansion, based on head metrics and all that. Mop.
Just feelies.
Mists
Mop
is my favorite.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
That's my favorite.
Is there a specific feature, or just the whole feel of the whole thing?
It was the feel of it. The story I liked. The questing was amazing. The way reputations worked was that turned out really well. And then towards the end, that's when flexible raiding started to become a thing.
Yeah.
With Siege of Orgrimmar, and that changed the game for my small guild, because now I could be like, no longer did I have to deal with, oh, sorry guys, you can't come because because we're full or something like that. And that was as a raid lead, that's the shittiest feeling. So being liberated from that it changed the game for me and my guild, and I owe a lot of thanks to Mop for that.
That's awesome. I don't know if you have heard this before or you're aware of this, but you picking that expansion, you actually share that that being your favorite expansion with like I would say the majority of the best players in the world, like the guys who they want to just kill the raid boss for, you know what I'm saying? Like they go real hard in that aspect. They pick Mop 2, which is like, I wonder how did Mop get it so right? It's like has kind of like a bad connotation almost to it because it's like the panda expansion meme.
I think
people loved
I think
it.
that was just like a immature, not kind of a juvenile critique about it. Oh, it's pandas. Okay, yeah. So like
I loved it.
This is where you draw the line. Like not with the space goats or the goblins and stuff like that. It's the pandas. Okay, that's cool. Thanks, guys. But I guess another fun thing about that, I know you're trying to rapid fire. I guess another really quick fun thing about it was Vengeance as a tank.
Yes,
it was the most broken and ridiculous thing, being top healer and top DPS as a tank. I fondly remember in Heart of Fear, there's a certain boss. There's a certain boss, Win something, I forgot. Where I just tanked everything, and I told my co-tank, just sit back and watch. Watch and learn. And so I got everything, and even like I think Throne of Thunder, like Torghast. I was like, I got this, guys. And as a paladin, I had like so many AoE different kinds of things that I'm like grabbing all the mobs, all the ads were coming towards me. I was holding on to the boss. It was just ridiculous. The whole, as a tank, that was like the favorite tank expansion if you just want to feel like ridiculously overpowered and broken.
Yeah. All right, cool. So yeah, I mean, we got some Mop love in here too. That's a big one.
Yeah.
On a similar note, do you have a favorite moment that comes to mind? Just a moment, just in the game that is, that is your favorite moment, of WoW gaming.
There are a lot of times where we'll do progression on a boss and I'll be like the last one standing. That always feels good.
Yeah.
When you get that boss, that's always a fun one. Killing Gul'dan was a fun one because it was, I had that.
Oh my god.
That was fun. But I think my first real moment of, oh my god, this is it. Like my balls are shrinking in and everything was, it was way back in Burning Crusade. Burning Crusade as a kind of a fresh, still budding pally tank. Mm-hmm. And I was fighting in Magister's Terrace, the final dungeon. And I was fighting Kael'thas, and like early on, the whole team died. So for the next 4 or 5 minutes, I'm just fighting Kael'thas by myself. And I'm using every cooldown that I can think of. At the time, I was an alchemist, and you could just use chain potion. You could just keep using potions over and over again. So I'm there for like 5 minutes, super stressed, heart was racing, and I'm like whittling down Kael'thas with like a little judgment here and there, a little, seal of light or whatever the hell it's called, trying to keep myself alive. And I even I landed on the ground and I pulled out like the trinket that I had. I pulled out a fucking goblin rocket launcher that has like a 6-second cast. And I'm like, all right, get it off, man. This is going to be big damage. And I killed him. And that was one of the greatest moments. That one is a standout. That one is a definite standout.
Maybe you'll get to relive that a little bit because Kael'thas is back, baby.
Yeah,
Kael'thas is
back. But there are just too many moments. Like we can go down memory lane like forever. But those would be like just a couple of those.
Nice. Yeah, playing since vanilla beta. Yeah, I can imagine. I think Jim is killing Archimonde.
Oh my god, Archimonde was that was like this, and like the first, because from I know you're this is Soul's time, right? Not my time, but going in and like making a guild that finally gets to an end boss, like because this is BC, right? Like finally gets to an end boss. We get through all the things that we're trying to get through, and then we're working on this boss forever, and then when he finally dies, dude, it was like this. It was my legit like the first end boss that was like at the time that the end bosses was current, right? Because everything before that we were just playing catch up with all the other guilds, right? So like like killing a boss at the time that everyone's like supposed to be killing it, and it's like with this solid ass, probably real shitters back then, but like solid ass like guild, and like, oh my god, I remember all the like pain and struggle we went through having to like try to like sort. I don't know if you did Arcmon, but having to sort out the groups into like different angles, and like it was just the first I made Photoshop spreadsheets, and I put people in specific. It was the most insane thing ever, and yeah, that for me, that and Argus were like the two for me for sure.
Nice.
It's funny. It's funny, like just real quick. I remember before, like we had to use like when we did spreadsheets and we had to like use the MMO champion tool to like sort out like, okay, here are the raid buffs that are coming in, guys. Okay, we got too many of this. Too many of that. Okay, we have enough people. Okay, just have him install Pally Power and then we'll be okay. Even though we were just like absolute imbeciles at using that tool. And I feel like I've lost that. Like these days we just kind of raid log and hop in and kind of figure things out. But at the same time, it has that nice gritty feeling too.
There was something about reading like what the ideas of the strats are supposed to be and things like that. Right now, it's like, we know exactly what it is. You can literally go into Warcraft logs and you're going to know exactly where every mage stands at every point. And there's a little something lost. There's a lot gained with that, right? It makes it more accessible to a lot of people, but there's something about just the absolute magic of killing this thing that was like, so, I don't know, probably a shit boss to today's standards, but it was awesome.
There's a fulfillment to figuring things out. There's also a fulfillment to be like, hey, I did exactly as the guide said, and I got it, and that's all that matters, So we got to respect that.
That's true. I got a bit of a funky one here, change of pace. So maybe you don't remember this, but what was it like having good old your boy Asmongold watch and react to one of your videos on stream?
There was only one time that I remember that. And that was a learning experience for me because I think it was me calling him out for, I think in so few words, he was being mean, I guess. It sounds soft for me to say it like that because I was being a little bitch about it. Like I woke up like really early in the morning one day and I saw him say some stuff. And I'm like, oh, let me react to it. This will be fun. I'll try a reaction video. And there's a reason why I don't do reaction videos. So I was saying, hey, you know what? He's right. I agree with his points, but like the way his attitude is and the way it's coming off and blah, 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 just not something I appreciate. Like, I think I want him to be more welcoming and things like that. So that was kind of the gist of what I was saying. So I think like a day or two later, someone's like, hey, Asmongold reacted to your video. I'm like, oh, that's going to be great. Because I don't think I said very flattering. I don't think I said very flattering things. And two, I don't think I was really making much of a point because I was just agreeing with him, but I was trying to add to the conversation, but I didn't add much. So when I watched it, he was just, I think he said basically he's not even really saying anything, to which I agree. And then his boy McConnell said something. I'm like, and I don't really watch his stuff, so I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah,
just this guy, just this rando, just talking shit. Screw this guy. But then I also saw a lot of blowback on the channel too. There were people like, some people were coming out in support. It's like, hey, I'm glad you shared what you felt, and I got some subscribers out of it. But then other people were like, you clearly don't know what you're talking about. You
piece of shit.
Filthy, you filthy fuck casual with your something IO score. Like you have no basis to like say anything. And I'm like, okay. So I learned from that because I came off on that video. Now that I'm remembering more, I came off as if I was speaking for a certain segment of people. Like I was speaking for like the so-called silent majority. And I've learned from that I don't. No, I only speak for myself. That's the most important takeaway from watching any of these pundit.
Wait, so you're saying like you kind of creators. not regret, but like you would do it differently?
I would do it differently. Yeah, like I would just stick to the points and be like, I guess I would say at worst, you sound like kind of a dick, and that's it. Because he's right. So if there is a regret, I shouldn't have made the video anyway because I didn't add anything to it.
Yeah.
I think I could have added like some more supplementary things. Hey, here are things to consider and blah blah blah, and like just leave it at that. Because I think some people took that video as if, hey, you're just trying to ride on Asmongold's coattails, trying to do a reaction thing to him and trying to get views out of it. Which I think is I think it's a little unfair because he is a very, very influential person when it comes to determining like the relative mood and the air and the narrative of criticism in WoW. And I guess I wanted to add more to that, and he's one of the reasons why I wanted to make videos in the first place. There was a video from him, and I think from Beliolar too, that they're just dogging on Warlords of Draenor for like mostly the right reasons, but then they were doing it in such a way that it's like, oh, so I don't recall what the content was, but it just made it sound like, oh, the devs are incompetent, they need to get replaced or something like that. Or at least that's how people ended up that's how people came away from the video feeling. And I'm like, dude, let's not do that. Because at the time, I was working at a dev studio, and I was like, it's more than that. So let me try to add to this conversation. And so here I am today, super successful.
Hell yeah. All right, so that took a real low turn. So we're gonna swing it right back up all the way to the sky, dude. How about that banger video that is trending to be your best video ever? It's not there yet. It's on its way. The 10 things to do now before Shadowlands. How about that one? What is it like to get a banger video that comes out?
It's a banger? I don't look at the numbers, so how could
you don't look at the numbers? This one is crazy, dude. It's like,
I try my best to not look at the numbers,
bro. This one caught on fire.
So like the last I checked, like my top video was one where I was like, okay, who burned the tree? Like that, I think that was like my top video.
It's not even your top anymore.
That's not the top anymore. Okay.
No, you're all right. Let me break. All right, here we go. I'm here. I'm your marketing manager right now. We're gonna come in. Yeah, okay. All right, your top video is 31 recommended BFA add-ons.
Right.
That is the top, right?
Okay.
And then the one about the tree, and then you have two other ones, but right behind the two is the one you just came out with, which is 10 things you need to do before Shadowlands. But this one is rising so fast that it is 100% by the time Shadowlands launches is going to be your best video.
Yeah, in 6 months, dude. That thing is gonna get
banger. It's a banger video, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it.
And it's over 10 minutes, dude. You're getting that pre-roll mid-vid thing. Oh my god.
I should change it and just add add forced ads or something like that.
Yeah, put like 13 ads in the first, like, dude, no. So, but like honestly, that one's really like that's inspiring to see, like, that you've had a lot of banger videos. Like you have like I think fucking 12 that are above 100K. So like you had a lot of banger videos, but this one is like, this is super recent and it's trending to be crazy good for you. So I just wondered, since you don't look at the numbers, surprise. But no, it's really cool to see that shit happen.
So takeaways that come from that, especially after learning that, hey, that's great. But takeaways from that are one, like people love guides. They love prep guides, especially ones that are at least somewhat quick enough but not super long and wordy, that cover certain things, like, hey, things to do before Shadowlands. Because we're at a point, I guess one big thing was like, we're stuck at home, we have shelter in place orders, what are we gonna do? I guess I'll play fucking video games. Hey, look, 10 things to do before Shadowlands. I'm stuck here. So there's a lot of luck that plays into it. Sometimes the timing just works out really well for you. As for like the content of the video, I'm not going to say that like I sat down and did market research and to think what's best. I just thought, what am I going to do? What are 10 things that I am going to do before Shadowlands that might be a good idea? Maybe I'll prep some of my characters so that way they're not total shit when when I want to jump in on those alts. It's not like I'm going to farm for mythic gear on every one of my alts, but I'm at least going to make sure that they have like decent quest gear. And, you know, so after the whole Vision project, I'm like, okay, cool. They got some gear. They're at 440 something. That's plenty good enough. And I know that I was one of the lucky people to be able to do a character transfer in the alpha, because no one else can do that right now.
Oh shit, yeah.
So I was able to look at a couple of things that aren't really like what I would call valid tech, because no one else can do it. But I'm like, okay, cool. I can look at the item level conversion for, you know, if I'm a 460 something now, in Shadowlands, I'm going to get knocked down to 120. And hey, guess what? 120 is the average item level for a level 57 character when you make a pre-made. So there was some knowledge that I was able to draw on because I just got lucky and all that stuff. But no, the videos like those, like little kind of quick bite-sized guides that can help people along, they tend to blow up. So I'm thankful for that one.
Hey, that's literally what we are. That's like the whole that's like a whole premise.
Our channel is short and quick guides. Holy shit.
Yeah, so like you guys can easily blow up. Like the way that I've gained the way that I've grown over these past couple of years, you know, it's the way I wanted to do it, you know, doing whatever I feel like, and every now and then some, you know, a helpful guide here and there. But like guide makers and stuff, like they blow up quick. You know, you guys will get up there like really quick with short bite-sized guides. You know,
what is your goal? Like what is your goal with this? Like you're like, because it seems like since you're not looking at numbers, I'm assuming you love the community and you have like a good solid like group of people that you're probably recognizing a lot of their names and interacting with those. And I know with your guild in and out, but like I said, I've been watching you since Legion. And there's, you know, I just like, it seems like you don't give a shit. You're just putting out content. Like it's like I don't give a shit like if this is gonna be popular. I don't give a shit if this sucks. I don't give a shit whatever. Like I'm gonna put out content because I like to put out content, and there's gonna be an audience eventually that rallies around that. What is like the end goal with that?
To not stop. To continue to be able to continue putting out stuff like this, and from there be just to be recognized for the things that I do in the way that, one, I don't go broke, and two, that I just become one of those personalities that people can go to for like certain opinions or certain thoughts or guides or things like that, or just to be me, you know. That there's I'm not trying to pander to a certain thing, because like, you know, that Asmongold video that was one of many things that helped me learn how to be a better content creator. And one of the big takeaways, one of the big takeaways from that is to be me, because people can tell when you're being genuine and when you're not. If you're just there for the money, which I respect too, because we gotta make our living somehow. And so sometimes I will like kind of purposefully put out, here are the top 10 glyphs of WoW, and but that still comes from an element of honesty, because I'm not going to come up with a top 10, you know, anything that I'm not very intimately involved with. So like,
you damn sure know about glyphs, dude. I've learned so much about selling glyphs from you, dude. Is insane.
Yeah, so I'll speak to these honest things for me, but yeah, like I just don't want to stop. I just love doing this stuff. I love sharing things with the community. I love being able to express myself in a way that doesn't exactly tell people, hey, you're wrong, you know, about this, but I do want to challenge like these general feelings that people have that, oh, timers in Torghast, it sucks. You know what? Consider this. You know, and I try to encourage at least thinking about it a little more. And if you still disagree, that's fine, because I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just trying to challenge you and get you to think a little bit more, to be a little bit more sophisticated and less memey, I guess, if that's a word.
No, yeah, makes sense to me because
Real
we're trying
quick.
to.
Anyone that's listening, I clicked on Soul's home page and it went. So you might hear that, and that was a mistake. Sorry about that. I'll fix that for next time.
You're good, man.
But yeah, I wanted to the other thing that I wanted to kind of point out, because like you creating content and like everybody else, making content, like we're inspired by people like that who just they make the content that they like, dude. Like we're not gonna we try to do the same thing. We're not gonna make something just because it's gonna make money or just because it's controversial or just gonna get views or whatever. We want to make stuff that we are interested in, and if other people are interested in it, that's cool. But if it makes you I don't even know how to say this. One thing I like to do is go back and look at the first video that people put out on their channel. Do you ever
man.
do you ever go back and watch Intro to Soul? Do you ever watch that?
Funny enough, if you look at it, I think if you look at it, there should be some old comments on there, and I just needed to make fake comments, and so I just commented on the old video. But I have looked at, and there were a couple times where people linked it to me too. They're like, "Hey, dude, check this out," and then it would be my own shit. I'm like, "You motherfucker! How dare you? How dare you?"
And going from Intro to Soul, and now speaking of numbers that you probably don't look at, that I didn't even know you could look at this. You're almost at 10 million views.
Oh,
does that even sound right? Like that number, 10 million eyeballs.
There's when you go to the YouTube pages and stuff, like there's some analytics that they force you to see that put them in front of your face. So like I shit you not, whenever I go to the analytics page or whenever I'm going to go to like the dashboard to look at uploads, I squint my eyes. I really try to not look at the numbers because I'm one of those types that I struggle with like self-esteem. I struggle whenever I feel like, oh man, I lost a subscriber today, or the growth wasn't there, or whatever.
Yeah, all of us.
I struggle with that. It's such a downer whenever I see that sort of stuff, because I'll see either the subs either dropped, or they didn't change, or they went up but they didn't go high enough. So anyway,
we're actually trying to stop looking at our numbers too, to be honest.
But now that you're telling me 10 million,
that's
20 million eyeballs, by the way.
There were nearly 10 million clicks on shit that I make.
That's crazy, dude.
That's a big number, dude.
It's something that isn't quite registering while we're talking right now, but like as soon as I get off and like my whole introvertness really kicks in and I just like shut down, which is gonna happen, trust me. I'm gonna be like, I'm probably gonna feel like that's crazy, huh?
It's awesome.
It's
so awesome,
dude. That's why, that's one of the reasons we want to do this. Is like, it might just feel like just a little project, just a little, let's see how it goes. And we do what we like, and we'll see if other people like it. And it's like, maybe if you keep track of the numbers, you can get down on how many you get per video. Maybe this one does better than this one, whatever. Like, you keep track of it. But at the end of, I don't know, you've been doing this like 5 years, 10 million like that's not even insane. A number that you can like think about. You can't even predict that. That's like, and
if
that's
you had $1 for every view.
Man,
if only.
I gotta get that CPM up, man.
That's a CPV. That's not a CPM. CPV.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
All right, so I got a viewer question real quick. They want to know, when is the Brutosaur song coming out?
Shit. So what's funny, like just the other day I not developed, God, I'm talking about it like it's complicated. Like I made a soundboard. I made a Brutosaur soundboard where I can have the background music play, and then I could just like make up lines, and then end it with Bob going, Brutosaur, and all that stuff with a little whip sound. So on stream I can just whip something out. And and the other day or yesterday I had a couple people think up some lines, and then I just did it like right on stream. But as for a full one, It's tough because I know that I need to collaborate with an actual musician if I want to make like a
Hey, what's up?
meaningful like. Hi.
He makes music.
Oh,
I'm an actual musician.
Actual.
Well, maybe we'll talk a little bit later.
Hey.
But at least to describe the struggle, it's simply just a matter of mashing up everything that I've got, putting it into a thing, and like what I really want to do is make it a community thing too. I really would love to just make a sample that I can just always like loop in, and then we can always just as people make up lines, or how other content creators, like if we can like make some sort of campaign, like that would be the dream, is if like we can get a bunch of people, a bunch of like other content creators, streamers, YouTubers, whatever, to like make up a line, and then they'll do it, and then we mash all of that stuff together as this big giant Brutosaur omnibus song. Like as like, hey, here's awareness to Blizzard, hey, don't take away our Brutosaur, guys, and so people will be singing the song. That'd be great.
That'd be fun.
But I know that like my own confidence issues and all that stuff, like it's going to be like a really daunting challenge. So it's on my mind, viewer who is asking. It's on my mind. But as for executing on it, it's not a priority at the moment.
Yeah,
but it's on my mind.
Big project too.
Yeah.
Well, I think we got like a clean hour and a half here, dude. So I think we're pretty good. We got a viewer question in there.
First cast ever. This is so good. Oh no, no more viewer stuff. They're just so excited about that Brutosaur song.
It's always fun doing these. So if you ever want to invite me back on,
they say
chat,
don't meet your idols, right? Like, but man, you're cool as shit, and I'm so thankful that you responded and that you were willing to do this. It's awesome.
You'd be surprised. Like there are a lot of us who just enjoy like talking. Like I'm sure like if you approached Taliesin and like book something, he'd be like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, we'll go ahead and throw something together. Yeah, no, because he's a cool cat to talk to. I still want to. He still owes me a drink. I said one time to him at BlizzCon, all right, we're gonna like hook up and then we're gonna drink. Not you, Avatel. Not yet. Not till later. But let's go ahead and drink. Oh yeah, we'll get together. But then he got busy. I got busy. All that.
And stuff. Now there's no BlizzCon this year.
Now there's not.
He's sneaking out of it.
It's a bummer because I was really looking forward to BlizzCon. I was looking forward to be like, oh cool, I'm gonna wear a yellow Bob shirt this time. This will draw plenty of attention and all that. But it is what it is, and I mean, I'd rather have our fellow WoW fans and gamers, be safe and all that.
Yep.
So
for sure,
I'll take the hit for a year if that means we can have a dope ass time next year.
Yeah, true that. Maybe we get like a little something special in the beginning of the year. I think they said something like that. We'll get
something
like a little
like that, yeah.
Virtual BlizzCon. Maybe that'd be cool.
Have you guys been to BlizzCon?
No, do we?
Dude,
I want
it's
to
like
so
it's a
bad.
giant dream. Like the next one that comes up, we are there for sure.
Yeah,
I'm gonna wear the same shirt as you, Soul, and we're gonna we're just gonna be having a great time.
That sounds
you should try and go, and then like if it doesn't hurt to try to apply as media, just give it a shot, and you might be able to get in for free, and then get in and possibly get in for like group interviews and stuff like that.
That'd be so fun.
I mean, that's one of the other highs of being a content creator for a game like this. It's like I'm being acknowledged by getting some money, by being recognized by people, and being recognized by Blizzard too. So when I was invited as media, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Because you get free food. Oh my god, you get
awesome.
You get preferential seating, you can cut lines. It's amazing.
Awesome.
You feel like a mini celeb, but you're not. So, but yeah, if you guys go, I hope to see you guys there. We'll like hang out and stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm down, dude. Yeah, that's cool. I guess we'll call it a wrap on the podcast, dude. Hour and a half. Right. That's pretty strong. we'll hoping to have you back whenever we kind of have our shit together a little bit better next time, probably. And yeah, it'd be great.
Just give me a holler, dude. It's fun hanging out with you, dude.
Oh yeah. Do you want to do your outro? Because you have a good outro.
I have an outro?
Yeah.
Oh no. This is your show, man. This is your show.
It just sounds so cool, man. I want to tell everybody to stay breezy.
It's all you, man. It's all you.
Yeah, we'll be doing these doing these every Friday. Hopefully we have new guests and everything. But hey, SoulSoBreezy, thank you for coming on. Everybody check out, he streams on Twitch, he makes YouTube videos, check him out. He does the Twitter, the Patreon, all that good stuff. We'll have links to everything. We're gonna post this as a YouTube video and everything, so you'll be able to see links down below to our stuff too. Check him out. And we'll be back on next Friday.
See you later,
Thanks
guys.
for having me, guys. All right, see you guys.
Bye.
Bye.